Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. So I didn't realize quite how big goal setting was going to be in Booktube, but I'm really excited about it because I set goals all the time. Do I always fulfill them? No. No. I feel like typically I get to about 50% of that goal. Like the effort is there. But you know what? 50% is better than nothing at all. And if setting a goal is what it takes to get me halfway to that goal, then that's okay. So here I am ready to set some goals that I will hopefully at least halfway accomplish by next year. I can't wait to be reacting to this later. Hey Sarah from the future. I hope I did you proud. I guess I hope you did me proud. Weird time, am I right? Have things actually started getting better after this year? Please say that they are. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into my reading goals and my YouTube goals for 2021. So the first one is the easiest for me because this was a goal that I actually started in 2020. I'm really happy with it and I want to continue to do it. Around April of last year, I started the goal where I would not physically own a book for more than a year without reading it. And I've been doing a really great job with this goal. I have, I think, 6 books left that I owned before I started that goal. So I gave myself like a full year to read through my backlog of all of my books. And then in May, that's like the first month that I actually have books that I purchased in May of last year that I'll have to read through. So part of me feels like the hard part is over since I got through my entire backlog of books almost that were more than a year old. But I also was able to unhaul a lot of those because forcing myself to read them was also forcing myself to say if maybe I don't actually want to read whatever book it was. And so instead I should get rid of it. So I don't know if that actually was the hard part or if the hard part is coming in May when I have to start reading all of the books that I got last May. And actually really the problem's going to be in June. I bought a lot of books in June. It was the month I started this channel, so I think that had something to do with it. But I would like to keep up that goal because I feel like even the oldest books from that, not counting the backlog that I've owned for more than a year that I haven't quite gotten through, those books don't seem stale to me yet. Like the excitement is still there about them. And I feel like for a lot of my backlogged books, the staleness started creeping in for them. And I wasn't looking forward to reading them, but I'm still really looking forward to reading the books that I got in May of last year and June of last year. So I'm hoping that continues and I'm no longer dreading reading books that I own or feeling guilty that I've owned them for multiple years without reading them. Also, it keeps me from buying too many new books, which is really great. Okay, as far as my goal for how many books I want to read this year, my goal is 100. I'd love to make it to 100 books. I still can't believe I made it to 92 this year, so 100 seems somehow unattainable, but it's not. I was 8 books short and I didn't read a single book in December, so I definitely can do it. I definitely can do it. As far as the 2 book series that kind of live on this channel almost. One is the Around the World book series. I say almost because I still haven't made a single video for this series. I apologize for that. Booker kicked my butt more than I expected it to. I was in a reading slump or in and out of a reading slump without ever fully getting out of it for a long time. A lot longer than I thought. I also ended up starting a podcast with some friends and it took a while to get into the groove of making those and how much time it takes to prep for recording those episodes, things like that. But I think that now that I'm in more of a groove with that, then I can actually kick off this series and also continue my book bucket list poster that's up here. So the goal is to do 6 videos for the Reading Around the World this year and 6 review videos for books that are on my book bucket list. This one I've only done 1 from so far, and that was for Middlemarch by George Eliot. And the next one is going to be To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. Basically how I do it is I randomly select 2 books at the end of the review video and then those books go up on a poll on my Instagram to be voted on. So Virginia Woolf is what won for that. And then I do a similar thing with the countries list for reading around the world. So the first country I'm doing there is Chile. And so I'm hoping to get that video done this month, but it might be going up like the 1st of February, I think, if I've worked out my days correctly. But the plan is that every other month I would be doing that video, and then on those opposing months doing the book bucket list. This goal is the one I'm the most concerned about, just because my track record with this hasn't been great so far, considering I've done one of one thing and none of the other. And I think I announced that I was gonna do this in like my 200 subscriber video. Oops. And then another goal I have for myself is to read the backlogs of 3 authors so that I'll have read all of their books and to make a video on those. Still one of my favorite videos, and still one of the videos that does the best on my channel in general, was my Frederick Bachman video where I talked about all of his books. I happen to have read them all except the nonfiction. And so I had a whole video where I talked about all of them and then added in Anxious People later in a separate video after that was released. But I plan on doing more of those for more authors just because I find it endlessly fascinating to see the progression of a writing style. I feel like Frederick Bachman has a very clear progression in his writing style, and I want to see that in other people as well. So one such person that I feel like has that kind of arc, or where her writing style changes as you go through her books, is Ruth Ware. I've read almost all of her books. I just have 2 left at this point, so I'm definitely looking forward to doing a video that encompasses all of her books. Also, Riley Sager I really want to do, but not just the books under that pseudonym. I'd also like to do the books that are under, he's got, I think, another book under a different pseudonym, and then he's got books under his actual name. I don't know how many books are where. All I know is that 4 are published under Riley Sager. Those are the ones that are like coming out every year. Another one's supposed to come out this year in 2021. Very excited about it. But in general, I'm planning on doing his. And then also, shout out to the commenter on my, I think, 200 subscribers video that suggested I do Taylor Jenkins Reid. My gut instinct when I saw that was like, I don't know. Because I had only read at that point Daisy Jones and the Six by her, and I didn't really like it very much, and it was hyped a lot. However, I ended up reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo just recently for a book club I have coming up, and I actually ended up really liking that one. So now I'm seeing an author that has quite a few books that are pretty quick reads, they seem like, just based off of the synopses. And not only that, but her first 4 books seem very different just looking at the covers, the titles, and all that, compared to like Daisy Jones and the Six, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and the book that she has coming out this year, Malibu Rising. So my plan is to do all of them, including Malibu Rising, and do a video about her. So thank you again to that commenter. I don't remember the name, but I will put the comment here somewhere. So yeah, I'd like to do a video for each of those authors talking about all of their works at some point this year. Maybe more authors. Those are just the ones that I'm pretty confident that I will be able to read their entire backlog before the end of the year and make a video about it. But other authors, I don't think I could make the same promise. If you have other recommendations for authors where you know they don't have this like huge backlog, but they have enough to where you can actually kind of see their writing journey and how they develop as an author, then I'd be very curious to know your suggestions. And last, but certainly not least, the thing that if my channel is known for anything, it's probably for doing the Booker videos, for reading all of the Booker 2020 books. Yes, technically I haven't finished yet. I still have 3 more books. I'm so sorry. I'm still working on it. I still have Who They Was, The Mirror and the Light, and Redhead by the Side of the Road. I'm working on it. You know, once the prize was like announced, there wasn't that like rush to get them all read, but now I'm starting to feel it again now that it's going to be coming up again, because the International Booker Longlist is being announced in February, on like the 27th, I think, late February. International Booker 2021 is being announced. So yes, that's part of I'm doing the International Booker 2021 as well as Booker 2021. The only caveat is that I'm not promising to read the entire long list of either award at this point. I will definitely be making videos and reading books from it, and I think at this time I will commit to the shortlist for both. But there's a lot of factors that go into it that I didn't really think of when I said that I would definitely read all of them this past year for the Booker Award itself. I didn't really do anything for the International Booker Award. I don't think I read a single book from there. But there's like so much that goes into it. Like if the books are available in the US, if I can like get my hands on them in general, or if I can get my hands on them in a certain amount of time. And then also some of them just like aren't really my cup of tea. I'm really torn on the decision to say that I'll read the entire long list simply because it's quite a lot to commit to without knowing what the books are or anything. But when I think back to Burnt Sugar and the fact that I probably wouldn't have ever picked that book up had it not been for the promise I made to read the entire long list. And that's one of my favorite books now. So like, but to be fair, that was on the short list. So I would have, if I was just committing to the short list, I would have discovered that book anyway. Okay, you know what? I don't feel bad about this. Okay, so yeah, I'm committing to the short list for both of them. That's not to say that I might not read more. I will likely start reading as soon as we hear about the long list and just hope the books that I'm reading will be on the short list. But as for now, that's what I'm committing to. Okay, those are all my goals. How many was that? Okay, not owning any books for more than a year physically that I haven't read. Reading 100 books in 2021. Doing 6 read around the world-esque videos, doing 6 of the book bucket list poster videos, so reviewing 6 of those books, reading the 3 authors that I said, reading their entire backlog, and lastly doing the international, let's split those into 2 goals. We'll say I have 7 goals. International Booker Shortlist, Booker Shortlist. Those are my 7 goals for 2021. So if I do half of them, I'll do 3.5 goals. And that'll still be good, right? I hope I do them all. Maybe I'll do half of all of them. I'm really committed to this half of goals thing that was based on just a feeling about how I do with goals. Okay, so anyways, those are the goals. So goodbye, future me, and goodbye to current you. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please do consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!